Hey, Chad Peterman here, your host of the Can't Stop the Growth podcast, a show that advances the home services industry and beyond. In this exclusive series, I've joined forces with Camp Digital to bring you powerful learnings that advance you and your business in the realm of all things marketing. Together, we bring content that empowers you to build a positive, healthy workplace for you, your people, and your bottom line. So let me officially pass the mic to Camp Digital for today's episode, chock full of insights that you can take and apply to your growth. Now listen and grow.
At Camp Digital, we know that staying competitive is paramount. Whether you're a seasoned business owner or just starting out, this series provides you with the tools and knowledge to prepare and advance your home service business to thrive in this dynamic landscape.
In the second installment of our two-part episode on recession-proofing your business, we're excited to welcome Tommy Mello, founder of Home Service Freedom and A1 Garage Door Service, to share his invaluable insights. Join us as we delve deeper into strategies for ensuring resilience in uncertain economic times. Let's dive in and glean some actionable tips from Tommy's expertise. Well, hello. Today I have the pleasure of sitting here with Tommy Mello, and I would like to first start with Tommy, how you got into starting Home Service Freedom.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of people started coming to my garage door event, Vertical Track, and I went there the first day of Vertical Track, and I met the first guy, and he's like, I'm a plumber. The next guy I got introduced to is an HVAC guy. The next guy was pest control. Then I met a roofer, then a gutter guy. And I'm like, this is for garage doors. And they're like, no, we love your content. We're just going to make it work. We don't care if you talk about garage doors. So I realized very quickly that everything I was talking about applies to everything, whether it's branding correctly or performance pay or staying focused and manuals like the Levy, getting your manuals dialed in. And the formula that I've done works so well for 100 garage door companies. It's the same plug and play no matter what the widget is. And after hundreds and hundreds of people said, can you start coaching on other things and helping us out? It's the same formula for every industry. Like, you need good numbers. You need to know your numbers. You need attribution. You need to lower your attrition with your employees. You need to, make sure you're taking care of the customer and asking for a review. So everything we talk about for garage doors works in everything. And by the way, I learned everything I know from HVAC. Even though I never had an HVAC company, I went and learned from Ken Goodrich and Ken Haynes and guys like Leland Smith and Keegan Hodges. So I traveled the United States of America going to every HVAC plumbing shop I could find. And enough people needed help. And, my dirty little secret is over the years, the next 3 to 5 years, if I see a company in HSF that's listening, showing up to everything, and they're just open to like a sponge and applying the principles, I probably would want to invest in that company. And it's not, it's 1% of the companies, but I like getting behind great founders. And this is an opportunity for me. I don't need to make money from Home Service Freedom because in the future, I'll have a lot of partnerships to develop out of it.
Do you feel like there's more people seeking out coaching right now?
You've got a lot of people looking for coaching. I mean, Nextdoor does an amazing job. There's so many good coaching platforms out there. But what I found was most companies have never made it in the real world. What do they say when you don't make it in the real world, you teach? I like that I'm still fighting the good fight, that I'm sitting here going through the economy that you're going through. I'm doing all the same stuff. And we got 62 new technicians starting next month coming to Phoenix to train. People say they can't find great people. How do you pay your people so well? And now the HVAC guys they got to make $300,000 a year. They won't come to you. And I'm like, it's so much more than that. And I think there's a lot of great programs out there and there's a lot of wannabes. And, I say, look, some people are flashing all their stuff, but look at their financials. Make sure you're listening to the right person because there's a lot of gurus out there. I say 1 out of 10 of them actually know what they're talking about.
So right now, we just talked about a little bit of an economic downturn, and I'm sure you've been through many of these. What advice are you giving to people coming to you right now? They're asking, like, how do I generate more leads? What should I focus on?
The best analogy I could give is, I'm not a farmer, but if I had a cow, I'd want to make sure I got all the milk. I'm really big into attribution, and I want to know where the lead came from. I want to know that it's a good lead. I want to know that it's in my avatar of what I look for a client. I want to make sure we're booking the call like our life depends on it. I want to make sure I'm converting those leads. I want to make sure I'm getting a 5-star review. I want to make sure that I got a customer for life and I'm selling a service agreement. I think a lot of people have been spoiled over the last 5 years. If you didn't make it during COVID, when we were deemed essential and the home service blue collar work blew up, you probably don't deserve to be in business. And I know that it sounds messed up to say that, but I think there's a lot of people that are great workers that decided to start a business. They don't know how to do payroll. They don't know how to create a culture. They didn't understand how to create the right brand. I've been working at this almost 2 decades. And yes, you could learn these things, but it's going to get tough. And people are blaming their marketing companies, and I think that's unfortunate because PE is coming in like it's no tomorrow. They're going into every industry. They can pay more for leads, and it's driving the cost up, so you got to make more with what you have. If your average ticket's not what it should be, if you're not giving several options, you're giving ultimatums. If the customer could only say yes or no, it's a mistake. So if your conversion rate, your average ticket, your booking rate is not lined up, you don't stand a chance of winning. You just don't. You'll never be able to pay people right. You'll never be able to have them on incentive pay. You'll never be able to buy new trucks. It's like I see people begging for leads, and then you look at it, they're not booking. They're at 60% booking rate. And don't blame the leads. Look at yourself in the mirror and wonder what you're doing wrong. You could do stuff to provide more leads. And I know a lot of ways to get leads. I think way outside of the box. Like just partnering up with a company. We're working with Green Mango on mailers in Phoenix. They're going to be on the back side. We're going to give them a little less than we pay, but now we just put our cost in half. And even if we only book 80% of what we got, would have got it with the front and back, it's still a big win for us.
What are some of those outside of the box things that you've done to gain leads?
Well, number one, I think it's important to have multiple showrooms. You know, GVP, Google My Business pages. I think a lot of people just have one. I think you could have more than one, 30 minutes apart from one another. I think so many people are just stale. They come up with every Valpak we're in, we got 4 competitors. I want to look at them. I want to look at the competitors and make sure I'm not offering the same stuff. If it's a tune-up, why not add a tune-up and rollers or a tune-up and a bottom rubber to keep the bugs out? Start putting combos in. Don't be the cheapest. Come up with something different. And learn how to turn those $29 tune-ups into a few grand. Like we practice all the time. We use Rilla Voice. We use automations like Chirp. We're just coaching all the time. We're watching the tape. That's what Rilla Voice does for us. Some of these people are called Discount City Plumbing, and they wonder why they don't get good clients. They got a beat-up truck. They show up. The guy's got a beard like Moses. His butt crack showing. You cannot charge a premium price. You don't look like a premium company. You don't even respect yourself. And I think the problem is you don't attract the clients you want, and then you wonder why you don't attract good talent. You don't attract the right clientele. So I think if you want to be a premium company, you got to have a premium brand, and you got to show up like you care. You got to be smiling. You got to tell a great company story. You got to play with the dog. You got to knock the door instead of ring the doorbell. These things matter. Never say the cheapest, say the builder grade. Never say the most expensive, you say top of the line. Never say sign the contract, say okay, the paperwork. The words we use matter. We train after train after train, and we never stop training.
You know, what about these smaller companies? Let's say you're under $1 million and you are looking to, you don't have enough to invest on Google right now. What are some of the recommendations that you would make for smaller companies to kind of get in front of customers right now?
Well, I've never seen a company to this day, including A1, that's done an amazing job of reaching out to their customers, doing amazing A/B testing on email blasts. You've got a whole book of clients ready to pay that have used you that would use you again. Tom Howard's sister, Catherine, she's doing outbound. She's now working with his company, Lee Zare, but she went across and worked for a bunch of companies just calling out. She was at an 85% booking rate for past customers for a tune-up. Like, you got to get good. When you're slow and you got an HVAC company, send the plumber to look at the hot water heater and the toilets and the garbage disposal and everything else. Like, you got to think outside of the box right now. It was so easy. You need to start thinking outside of the box. I go back to relationships and networking all the time. Go back to the B&I groups. Knock on a neighbor's house. Do things that you haven't done in a long time. They used to call it clovering, where you'd go out and leave a mailer, like a door hanger on like 5 houses around where you're at. We started doing that again. It's doing great results. A lot of people don't even know what influencer or affiliate marketing is. There's a cash cow there. We're working on a program right now that I believe affiliate marketing will give us more leads than everything else combined. Like, I used to deliver cookies to realtors that have 500 clients a year through their group. And it's going back to the relationships. And I think that's where it all starts. Like the pest control company is going to refer us for bottom rubbers. We're going to refer them for spraying. Like these networking, whether it's a chamber or a B&I group, learn to work with these customers and refer each other. Start networking more. The algorithm of networking and friendship will never change. Google's algorithm will change.
That's true. How do you feel about outbound calling from a shop?
I think it's great. I think you should be text messaging. I think you should be emailing. I think you should be doing a lot of things. I think outbound calling is great, but also sending an email, also a voicemail blast, also a mailer. I like hitting the customer 8 ways from Sunday. Chirp's done a lot of studies. It takes 16 to 18 times to follow up with a customer to get them to make a conversion or book it. I think you got to be, you cannot email blast every day, but you got to get creative, make it valuable, not just, hey, I want you to book so I can make money. It needs to be funny sometimes. It needs to be a video. It needs to be interesting and fun. It can't just be, hey, it's time for your service agreement. There needs to be a compelling reason why. I love marketing more than anything in the world. I think marketing is far more important than sales. I'm obsessed with it. I read all the time. I love reading marketing and sales books. And I'm a student for life. And I think a lot of people, they just get so flustered. They go to a seminar, they get all this data, then they come back to a firefight and they just don't know what to do next. They're kind of confused. And I know that because I was there. I mean, like I said, 2 decades in this industry. I think people need to slow down and get the biggest things done first. If you're not booking phone calls, which is most of the problem I see with most shops, you're not booking the incoming calls. You need to fight for those calls. And if you're giving prices over the phone, you're failing. I would just simply say, listen, I got a guy in your area. He's got a loaded truck. He could do the job there. What are your cross streets? I got a guy going to be there today. Why don't we just have him stop by? If you like what he has to say, he could do the work right there. If not, send him on his way. Because I think it's kind of bait and switch to give you a price and we come out, it's not exactly what we looked at. Because I never had a mechanic give me a price over the phone. I don't know why we give prices over the phone. They need to look at it.
So if you have a shop and they have their data and it's right, and they're looking at it in their CRM and their booking rates 60% or lower, what are some of the coaching advice that you would give them to kind of get underneath that and start fixing it?
Well, performance pay for CSRs. Most people are paying $15 to $20 an hour. My average person makes $26 an hour. They get paid for data accuracy, for empathy, which is an AI tool that just listens to the call to grade that. And then if they book the call, they get $10. So now they got a stake in the outcome. Now they care. Now they're going to fight like you fight. Now they feel like they've got an incentive to fight just as hard as you would for that call. I think no matter what you're paying per hour, it's not motivating. They don't have a stake in the outcome. So first I would switch to performance pay. Second thing, I would have a lot of training, and I'd be listening to the calls with them. And I'd have a level 1, level 2 like we have here. Level 2 is always listening and working with level 1. Level 2 can give pricing if we have to. Level 1's not. Level 1 doesn't even know what pricing is. They don't even know what it is. They're not allowed to even learn about pricing until they hit level 2.
That's some great advice. Is there any outside companies that you recommend for that as well, for training?
Yeah, how Power Selling Pros, we've trained with them for a long time. They do a fantastic job. I mean, when Brigham came to my office, it was my old office. He played us a call where this old man calls up and says, yeah, I'm calling. And it was the wrong number. And she starts laughing. She goes, well, listen, we're a plumbing company and we'd love to help you out. Do you have a leaky faucet? Anything we could help you with? And he's like, actually, I could use a plumber. And they booked the phone call. It's being very cordial. My mom used to answer the calls and she'd go, thank you for calling A1 Garage Door Service. My name's Gina. I hope you're having a best day ever. How can I be of service today? And she'd sit on the phone and she'd go, oh, honey, I am so sorry to hear that. She's like, we're going to make it all better. I'm going to send out our best technician. And I used to run calls back then. This is 2010 to 2013. And I'd show up there and the people would be like, who is that lady? And I never told them it was my mom, but I'd be like, oh, yeah, we love her. And they'd be putty in my hands. Like the way the call set up, they'd be like, I knew we wanted to do business with you guys because the way you answer your phones is just like, we wanted to do business with a company like yours. And anything I said, they'd buy.
A memorable experience, right?
Exactly.
You would remember that. So do you believe that in a down economy, do you believe that a company has to feel that? Like in your past, when you were running, with A1 and you've gone through downturns of economies, did you feel that? Did you feel that pain? And did you do anything differently?
I've never felt the pain. I think when people start laying up on marketing, I double down on marketing. I think the first thing people cut is marketing because they feel loyalty to all their people that have no loyalty back. I think it's time to top grade and get very serious. I don't believe in performance improvement plans, but if your dream isn't big enough, then you don't belong here. I'll let you work for my competitor. I have no sympathy for people that don't put their heart and soul into this. This is what I have. This is my life. I love this place. These are my family. You're not going to let the whole company down just because you didn't feel like it today. We're going to work together. I'm going to inspire you to do the best and become the best version of yourself. And if you don't want that, maybe this isn't right for us. If you got a will, I'm going to find a way for you. And I never fire. I'm very, very loyal to my people. But so many people, they're like, we got to keep all these people, but there's no respect back. And then they cut their marketing rather than increase it in the bad times. Worst thing you could do is start cutting marketing in a down economy. That's bankrupt.
Is there anything else that you think our listeners should know right now? Any advice?
There's so many tips I have for marketing. Obviously, know what your competition is doing. Create programs that are different. Come up with, instead of selling products, we sell packages. Number one. Number two is every single review you get should have a picture in it. You should always get pictures of the guys working and to have a compelling a way to get reviews.
So how would you recommend, can you back up for a sec? How would you recommend somebody does that?
So we built A-frames. And we put a picture of the technician's family on it, of their wife and kids and their pet. So they put the A-frame in when they're finishing the job, and we say, hey, Mr. Jones, I wanted to show you my why in life. This is my family. This is my beautiful daughter. This is my dog, Max. And they're my everything. My life's journey is to make them successful and make sure I'm giving them the best Christmas, taking them to Disney World. This is my why in life. Would you do me the honor? I hope and I pray I gave you 5 out of 5 service today. When you leave a picture with me working, people actually call for me and they ask for me by name. You create job security for me and my family. Would you take a few minutes and please do me the honor of leaving me a quick review? And when you ask for the review from the technician, from your family, and you get a picture of them, the technician makes way more money in the long run because people do ask for them by name. And it's a compelling review. Hopefully you left them with an experience that they'll remember forever. We offer coffee on the way. Hey, I'm stopping off at Starbucks. Can I grab you something? Maybe an iced tea, coffee, latte. Like, we try to make an experience. And I think there's a lot of people out there that were just spoiled. And they're just like, just go service the customer, go to the next one. Go fix it. By the way, I don't sell things people need. I sell things people want. I give them options. I want somebody to offer me everything, and I'll make the decision what I want to buy. And you got to know sales, and sales is a part of life. If you met a husband or a wife, you were selling. You got best friends, you're selling. You're at church, you're selling. Everything in life that we do, we're smiling, we're talking, we're socializing, we're listening, how to win friends and influence people. This is so important. I want you to dream bigger than you ever have because you are worth it.
Anything else?
Marketing. LSA, local service ads. It's important to answer the phone on the first ring. It's important to be very clear when you're speaking. It's important that you don't have an IVR because it's kind of rated. If you're not answering your phone, your quality score is gonna go down. Another thing is if you got someone clicking on your page and PPC and your quality score is low, you're never gonna do well. You got to have information that keeps them on the page, videos and interesting things, and you got to look at a heat map to where people are going. If your quality score is not high, you're gonna be paying triple what the next guy's paying on pay-per-click. Organic. Are you putting new stuff online? Are you doing blog posts? Are you doing PR? And the other thing I would tell you guys that are listening is I've got 7,000 call tracking numbers. I've got a call tracking number for every zone in Valpak. I know exactly where every lead's coming from, what it costs my CPA. I understand exactly where the money's coming from. This is all I look at. I look at these numbers all day long, and I figure out ways to I literally go to Valpak. I go to Clipper Magazine. I renegotiate all the time. I say, what's in it for them? I renegotiate in a way that helps them win. And I do a lot of performance deals with Gannett and other different newspapers. Well, they'll put me in, and I pay them a certain percentage, and they put me right at the top because we got a high booking rate and a high conversion rate, high average ticket. Like, think outside of the box, stay focused, and just understand these tough times make us stronger. And if your business makes it through this and you flourish, the good times are going to be back in no time, I promise you. This is an election year. We're going to come into good times again. Just stay the course, wear your blinders, stay focused, train. Know your numbers.
You need the data. That's the problem, right? You need the data.
Data will set you free.
That's right.
I can keep going, but I know this was supposed to be 20 minutes.
I know. You are awesome. And I know you took the time to do this, and we appreciate you so much. You have so much information to give. I can't thank you enough.
No, I really appreciate the opportunity. It's great. I think everybody should be networking like crazy. Put a smile on your face, drive your KPIs, and focus on winning. And you'll make it through this, I promise you. You can't be afraid to top grade your people either. If a CSR doesn't come around, has got a bad attitude, put them in a different position, or you got to set them free. You got to make tough decisions. And if you go through the tough decisions, I promise you, there's so many people that they let someone go and they're like, man, I should have done that 3 years ago. They're like, man, it's actually a relief. Like, wow. And we feel this loyalty, but we don't get loyalty back. And I think that'll really help a lot of companies grow, is when they recognize the poor performance and they either manage them up or out.
So if somebody wanted to get a hold of Home Service Freedom, how would they do that, Tommy?
HomeServiceFreedom.com. We got an event coming up in Nashville. It's going to be amazing. We got our big event coming up in California in September. We train on a lot of stuff. It's not for everybody. I only like to work with people that want to change their business for the best. We come in, we give you the roadmap, we show you where to focus on, and we increase your business. Most companies triple the first year with us. So if it doesn't make sense for you and you're looking for a miracle, we're probably not it. But if you want to focus and you could follow a roadmap and do the things we tell you, you're going to win. Plain and simple.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Camp is excited to announce our new quarterly webinar series beginning June 25th. To register and for more information, go to the show notes.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to get connected, you can find me at chadmpeterman.com. To see what our team's up to, you can visit petermanbros.com. As always, keep growing out there.